Welcome to Holistic Accountant Podcast, where we aim to showcase how adopting a holistic approach in accounting and tax maximizes value for clients. Beyond traditional tasks like preparing financial statements and tax returns, a holistic accountant focuses on offering advice that maximizes personal wealth on an after-tax basis. If you enjoy this episode, please consider leaving a rating and sharing it with those who might also benefit. And to ensure you stay updated, subscribe to our weekly email. The link is in the show notes. Okay, today, Menno, I would like to talk about how to protect your business against cyber security threats. It's interesting that the ACCC's research suggests that 60% of losses were reported by small and micro businesses, and often these things occur due to human error rather than, any sort of fantastic hacking or those sorts of things. So the main threats are ransomware. Ransomware is where someone actually does get access to one of your computers and installs malicious software. A really common way is phishing campaigns. So that's where someone in your business will receive an email purporting to look like a genuine email, to click a particular link, which again could be to put some malicious software on your computer or take you to a different website, have you pay a bill or something. And in fact, that's the third one, is business email compromise. So another common one is sending out invoices, maybe from ASIC or the ATO or something like that, getting you to make a payment. So they're really the three most common threats.
So what should you do to sort of improve your cybersecurity practices? The first one is probably just keeping up to date with your software and systems. I know it's a pain when you see a software update to come up and you're just thinking, the downtime on your computer and so forth. But with each software update, there's usually not only bug fixes, but there could be also security improvements. So it's really important to actually stay on top of all your software updates. The second thing is obviously using strong passwords and implementing sort of multi-factor authentication. The days of using easy passwords or, your spouse's name or your children's name, it's quite dangerous. We always recommend using a password manager such as Keeper or similar. It helps you sort of manage these passwords, encrypt them, make them very complicated, not easy to crack. And obviously backing up your business data all the time, try to have your data on the cloud so it's always saving. Obviously check who your cloud providers are. So, making sure that it's sort of being backed up with a reputable provider. And also it's important to educate your employees on best practices. I know in our business we have monthly training on cybersecurity. It seems like overkill, but obviously being in the financial services industry, we deal with a lot of sensitive data, so it's really important that our staff are across it and how to deal with, any breaches or potential breaches.
They're probably the two things that we've done over the last 5 years that have had the greatest impact that Mina sort of touched on. Password manager, really critical. A very inexpensive bit of system to implement in your business, but we'll make sure that you protect all logins and have really strong passwords, passwords that you can almost never crack because they're not a phrase. They're not, as Mina said, your dog's name or your daughter's name or whatever it might be. So password manager is a no-brainer. And then the staff training, as Mina alluded to, has been really valuable because 99% of the time it's going to be one of your staff members that have made a mistake, that have been tricked into clicking something, entering a password, doing something like that. It's not going to be it's unlikely to be a random hacking attempt, to get into your system. And so training your team, training your staff, making sure that they're aware of these things are critical. There's a couple of other additional things you might want to think about then. Getting your IT provider, and if you don't have one, you probably should, but getting your IT provider to review your IT security, both the physical security, if you still have a server, if you're not in the cloud, and then also your online security, which obviously is linked to passwords and so forth. They might be able to identify something that's, leaving a big gaping hole, I guess, in your security. So it's well worth doing that. And in a previous episode, we talked about insurance and having cyber security insurance, depending on your business and the impact on your business as well. Of course, if you do have a data breach or something like that, you might want to think about having that insurance. Again, it doesn't really solve the problem. It's really after the fact, but at least from a financial perspective, it'll lessen the blow.
Next step is to document everything. So document a cybersecurity policy and an incident response plan, as you would with any sort of workplace management injury or anything like that. It's really important to outline the key elements of a basic cybersecurity policy. I should have discussed the importance of documenting it, of what to do at the time that it occurs and who to report it to. Because otherwise, if the staff just don't know what to do, and like Stuart mentioned before, it's usually at the staffing level, if they're not sort of educated enough on how to deal with these types of things, they're the ones that cause the biggest breaches in larger companies. So it's really important to have a policy in place and educate everyone around this policy so that you can have an action plan should something actually happen.
Hopefully it doesn't surprise you that we're not experts with respect to cybersecurity or anything technology related, really. But we're just sharing our experiences in terms of what we've done. As Mina said, we operate in an industry where we have a lot of sensitive data, and we take that responsibility significantly to make sure we're safekeeping that data and doing everything we possibly can. And so we thought it would be good to share, what we've learnt and our insights. But of course, it's going to depend on your business and your industry. But it's something as business owners we need to keep up to date with, and we need to help our team make sure that they've got the knowledge to also help us minimise our business risk. Anyway, something to leave you with and have a think about, and until next week, bye for now.